Hi guys, I'm going to read you the article and you can listen and fill out the tool yourself. How's that? Yay! So it's kind of like I'm there even though I'm not there. All right, so this is how you get to this article that I'm going to read to you. You go to home screen, right? Once it loads, you're going to scroll on down to Learning Target 11. Click the blue link, not the red link. All right. Remember, Learning Target 11 is comparing and contrasting deviance and criminal behavior and the types of sanctions. So, yesterday we learned about, or 2 days ago, we learned about what deviance and criminal behavior are and some examples. And then we started diving into the functions of deviance, things like, bringing groups together, unifying groups, solidifying what norms are, what expected behaviors are, reminding others, hey, this is what the appropriate behavior is of society, and there are consequences if you do not abide by those, right? So now we're going to move on to social control, and that is identifying identifying and describing types of sanctions used to control social behavior. Okay, so that's what we're focusing on today. All right, so make sure that you go to activity 3, social control. Scroll down, you should see the tennis players shaking hands. That's social control because, oh, it explains right here. Look at this example to the right. This shows how most sports, like this tennis match, typically conclude with a handshake as a show of good sportsmanship and to congratulate your opponent for a well played match. Blah, 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 blah. We expect that. Okay? We expect that, and so therefore it is a social norm. So, if you refuse to shake the other team's hand at the end of the game, you're breaking like that social norm, right? And so there are consequences for that, and we as society have to teach people no, that's not okay. So we therefore, enforce sanctions. It's a form of social control. That's how we control people and get people to conform and fall into line in society and follow the social norms of society is by like natural sanctions. We like are just sanctioning people all of the time. We are constantly strengthening the social controls and like the conformity of society every day to everybody that we're around. Like if someone is like not behaving appropriately in an elevator, we all like give them dirty looks. That's a form of sanctioning. Okay. Anyway, come down here to the sanctions and control. That's what I'm going to read out loud to you. You guys are going to need to download this 11 or LT11 sanctions and internalization tool. Once you download it, click this little box. Okay? It'll pop up down here. Once you open that bad boy, it looks like this. It is so cool. All you're going to do is you are going to read this little teeny tiny passage, and then you're going to define internalization and describe something you have internalized. We have all internalized things. Matter of fact, I'm internalizing something right now. It's just life. Okay, anyway. And then as I read along, you're going to fill in this chart, right? So make sure that you define positive, negative, formal, and informal sanctions. Define them in your own words, okay? Try to simplify the definition so that you really understand what it is, okay? How and why is it used? And then an example from your life, okay? Awesome. All right. So let's go back here. I'm going to read this out loud, and then you guys are going to follow along and fill out your charts. How's that? Social control. Let me move myself up here. Social control and sanctions. Enforcing social norms through either internal or external means is known as social control. The primary guide for social control in all societies is self-control, which is learned through interacting with society and acquiring knowledge and understanding related to the norms agreed upon by a society. Individuals who impose sanctions may include authority figures, police officers, courts, religious figures, family members, peers, as well as public opinion. It could be the little old lady that walks past you in the grocery aisle that she can impose sanctions. Societies are not able to survive unless they have systems and personnel in place to effectively implement systems of social control. Within society, norms and rules are put into place to enforce the social order that exists to protect the stability needed for society to function properly, or else it's chaos. To implement social control, society offers two solutions, formal and informal sanctions. Here we go. Sanctions. Get your pens out and take notes. The vast majority of society follows norms through established understandings or meanings of internalizing the expectations of society. Internalization is, you guys need the definition of this, is the process by which a norm becomes a part of an individual process. Hold on. Whoever typed this didn't do a good job. Internalization is the process by which a norm becomes a part of an individual process. The norms of an individual personality, thus conditioning individuals to conform to the expectations established by the society. What is this person trying to say? Norms become part of an individual when they process the norms of an individual's personality, thus conditioning individuals. Okay, yes. Okay, so essentially, people break people down and then build them back up so that they can conform to what society expects of them. Okay? All right? Sanctions are rewards and punishments used to enforce conformity to norms. All right. For example, the United States attempts to hold a high social norm on the rights of all humans for the most part. However, in certain regions of the world, the definition of human rights and what those embody may differ from those held in the United States. As a consequence, the United States may attempt an economic sanction or restriction to deter certain behaviors and influence a country to adhere to the norms the United States believes is is the norm, right? So like what we're doing to North Korea, we're sanctioning them because they're breaking our rules. It's like we have some moral like high ground. We're like some moral police, whatever. Anyway, you get it. However, here as a consequence, the United States may attempt an economic sanction. Okay, I already read that. This is an example of a negative sanction. A negative sanction. You will learn more about sanctions in the preceding paragraphs. Okay, positive sanctions. Sociologists call an action that rewards a particular behavior or patterns of behavior is a positive sanction. So when you come to class prepared and you have your project ready, you get a gold star. That is a positive sanction. These types of sanctions are very common from an early age through interactions with family members. Consider your own childhood and think about the feelings and actions you experienced when you were rewarded for good behavior, doing well in class, or doing your chores without being asked. You're like praised. You're like, oh my gosh, you did a great job. Here's some allowance money, right? Positive sanctions exist outside of the household as well. Teachers react favorably to students who adhere to deadlines and submit high quality work reflective of their potential, and thus those students earn good grades, gold stars, pats on the back. Hip hip hoorays. Positive sanctions are also seen in adulthood. Such examples include employers providing employees with raises and bonuses for highly productive employees, which exhibit passion and dedication to their work. In athletics, fans and teammates cheer on their favorite teams, participating in athletic activities for jobs well done. Some other examples of positive sanctions include earning ribbons, rewards, badges, recognitions, cookies, high fives, hugs, phone time, and even ceremonies to encourage society's norms. In the scenario provided above, acquiring wealth or winning athletic competitions are societal norms that are revered. Everybody loves the winner of the Super Bowl. All right, anyway, negative sanctions. Positive sanctions alone do not always ensure that conformity to society, to the norms of society. Rewards, people get like, okay, we get it. It's the bad things that teach us the lessons. Some say that. Anyway, society uses negative sanctions to discourage undesired behavior. A negative sanction is a punishment used to enforce conformity to social norms. In many cases, the threat of punishment is used to deter the certain behaviors from occurring. Okay? So the punishment is used to make sure that the kid or the person that is doing something that is outside of the norm, they don't do it again, right? So like when your puppy pee-pees on the floor and you're like, no, 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 right? That's a negative sanction, and you put them outside and they pee and then they learn that mommy doesn't like it when their fur baby pee-pees on the carpet, right? Okay, you guys get it. One such example in the real world that you guys might encounter is a vehicle being towed or ticketed for parking in a zone that doesn't allow parking, okay? That's a real life application. Please don't let that happen to you guys. It sucks. It's a waste of money. In addition, individuals in the United States typically understand that no parking signs are placed in areas which warn of potential consequences for breaking a social norm. However, it is a threat of punishment. It's not enough to deter the behavior from occurring or to promote conformity. The negative sanction, like the punishment in itself, is not likely to prevent the behavior from occurring, right? For example, towing a vehicle parked in a no parking zone may be more successful than a $25 ticket because it's just like the hassle of having to go get your car out, making sure you have all of the paperwork to get your car out, getting a ride down there, having to listen to the person who's driving down there nag at you for how negligent it is to park in the parking spot. All of that is just like so, right? You're just like, I'm never going to do that again. Therefore, there is a correlation between the sanction and the likelihood of the norm breaking behavior happening again, right? So if it's really bad, you're just not going to do it again. I learned my lesson. Okay? Formal sanctions. In addition to being positive or negative, a sanction can be formal or informal. A formal sanction is a reward or a punishment given by a formal organization or agency. Such examples include the FBI, local law enforcement agencies like police officers or the Department of Natural Resources, the DNR, schools, or businesses. Negative formal sanctions include low grades in schools, academic suspension, and expulsion, concluding a contract of employment, or fines and imprisonment. Most establishments possess means of formal sanctions which are well understood by examples like the organizations above. Okay, informal sanctions, and then we're finished. Formal sanctions play a major role in keeping social society stable. However, the majority of norms are enforced informally. That bad look that you get when you're acting weird in the elevator, that is an informal sanction. An informal sanction consists of a spontaneous expression of approval or disapproval given by an individual or a group. Okay, positive informal sanctions include standing ovation at the end of like a really dope performance. You're like, oh my gosh, bravo, do encore. Okay, that is an informal positive sanction. Or compliments from a stranger or a random individual, smiles, pats on the back for a job well done, and gifts. Negative variations of informal sanctions include gossip, insults, dirty looks. Like if someone like goes like this, That's an informal sanction. They're trying to tell you that you did something wrong just now. So you should probably reflect on what you think caused that person to sigh like that. Okay?